John is here to welcome us. John? Oh, John.
He might be here.
Oh, poor John.
Oh, what was he?
I know. Good morning.
Good morning.
My name is John DeGrieve. I've already been put to task. I am the treasurer of this congregation and also chairman of the religious services team. Welcome to our service. Unitarian Universalism encourages the open-ended search for meaning in life and a commitment to asking our values to shape our actions. We are a pluralistic religion that draws wisdom from many sources. We welcome all people into our beloved community of whatever race, age, class, ethnicity, physical ability, sexual orientation, gender identity, or religious background. We welcome especially those worshiping with us for the first time. Guests are welcome to participate in any activities of our community. The welcome team members are wearing green name badges and are ready to answer any questions you may have if you are a visitor and new to this congregation. And I just want to point out the banner saying that our community wants to be your community, and it's also on the electronic sign this week. Pastoral care teams are wearing yellow name badges and are able to talk to you if you have a life transitions or need assistance. We invite everyone to stay in the sanctuary today after the service for coffee and snacks so we can get to know you better. Thank you for being with us today.
I feel like I'm on a sitcom and that's my own music. Thank you. Good morning. My name is Gail Springer. I am a member here in this beautiful, beautiful community. And I am up here today to talk to you about the Block a Hymn fundraiser that we've been doing for the past 4 weeks. So as you all know, in the first round, our precious blue boat home was in danger of being sunk. And then it was Let It Be a Dance We Do was in second place. And then our children's song that we sing them out was in third place. Well, we had our second round where you could either block some more or give a mulligan. I will let you know that our precious blue boat has been saved. You bailed it out. It had a negative 18 votes. So that is fantabulous. And now, drum roll, please. The winner of a Block a Hymn is the beautiful 413. Go now in peace. So starting on June 1st, is that correct? July 1st, we will find a different song to sing our children out to, and that will be the case for a full year. I would like to thank everybody who participated. With your participation, we made $438. Thank you. I'm done.
I'd like to do a brief catch-up with what's all going in the back. Due to a project by the property committee, the downstairs kitchen area is actually tarped off. So thank you to our hospitality team that has brought everything in the back. So after the service, I will remind us that this is as well the kickoff to our pledge for the next 6 weeks. Let our light shine. We are going to ask that everyone here get your treats, come and sit back down, and we will have John quickly review some of our finances. Ann Harrington will talk about the affirmation form because it's new this year. The pledge drive card we once knew is no longer, it's now incorporated into the vote by the congregation last June to include in it membership information so we can track members better for UUA. So please stay, because the more that we do today, the sooner we know what our dreams can be for the next year. So, thank you. Gates. That last part made me think somebody was tickling my feet. You know, thank you, Gates. So our theme for Pledge Drive is Let Our Light Shine. But all big ideas start with small things. So this morning, for the opening, we will start with a story. It's a story Mother Teresa told of herself. And it fits in with our theme today. And she entitles her little story with, Remember the Small Things. So it's in her words. I was working on a reservation among the Aborigines. There was an elderly man. I can assure you that you have never seen a situation as difficult as that poor old man. He was completely ignored by everyone. His home was disordered and dirty. I told him when I met him, Please let me clean your house, wash your clothes, and make your bed. He said, I'm okay, just let it be. But I said again, You will be still better if you allow me to do this. He finally agreed. So, as Mother Teresa continues, I was able to clean his house and wash his dishes. I discovered a beautiful lamp while I was cleaning, but it was covered with dust. Only God knows how many years had passed since he had lit it. I said to him, Don't you light your lamp? Don't you ever use it? He said, No, no one ever comes to see me. I have no need to light it. Who would I light it for? So she replied, Would you light it every night if the sisters came to bring you a meal? He thought, and he begrudgingly agreed. So, from that day on, the sisters committed themselves to visit him every evening. I had completely forgotten that man until he sent this message through the sisters who visited. And it said, Tell my friend that the light she lit in my life continues to shine still. Mother Teresa ends, I thought it was a very small thing. We often neglect small things. Today, we will find the miracles that start with small things. as small as a flickering light on a chalice that is powerful enough to change the world. And to light our chalice, we will have the Pickerel family do that for us.
Next slide, please. So we go right ahead. We put the paper up.
Deep calls
It's unto deep. Joy
calls unto joy. Light calls unto light. Let the kindling of this flame rekindle in us the inner light of love, of peace, of hope, and as one flame lights another, we pledge ourselves to be bearers of light wherever we are. Let it be so.
Please rise as you are willing and able to sing our opening hymn, which it says, page 118, and I haven't looked, so I have no idea, I can't introduce it. So, oh, it's Let Our Light Shine. Now take a minute or so to greet each other near and far.
If kids would like to come forward, we'll keep the ball rolling and have a little chat. Well, it sure is nice to see you all again today. How you been doing? Good. I'm glad to hear it. Whew, it's been a while. It's been a while. It's been a week, hasn't it? I know. February went out with a bang. It most certainly did. So I got a question for you. If I said you need to let your light shine, what would you say to that? If I said you got to let your light shine, what does that mean to you? You would make a big smile and help other people. Okay. All right, you make a big smile. I have a story about a sun and the wind having an argument about blowing off a hat, but that's just me. What would you guys? I'll tell the story downstairs. It's unimportant up there. What about somebody else? Dominic, you got all kinds of ideas. If I said, let your light shine, what does that mean to you? You don't know? That's okay. Anybody? Hippie? Does Hippie have an idea? What is it? I don't speak Hippo. You'll have to translate. We'll come back to Hippie downstairs. How about that? Okay? So I want to read a story, and maybe this can help shed a little light, see what I did there? On what it might mean to shine your light. Okay? Now this is about a turtle. It's not about a turtle, but there's a turtle in there. So the story is called What the Turtle Taught Theodore, and it's about Theodore Park. Now, in his autobiography, Theodore Park relates that as a child, 4 or 5 years old, living in a farm in Roxbury, he was walking through the fields one day absent-mindedly, swinging a stick through some tall grass, because that's what we all do when we have a stick, right? We just swing it around. Now, this was many years ago, and in the days before the Civil War. And it was summertime. Yeah, it was a long time ago. Do you guys know about the Civil War? You've heard about that? Yeah. It was a bad war, and it was a long time ago. I'll tell you another story about the Civil War and my great-great-great-grandfather downstairs, because it involves poop. So, it was summertime, and he stopped to watch the water bubble along the creek, and then he noticed that a turtle was sunning itself right there on a rock. Now, he had been with other boys, and he had seen them use sticks to strike at the turtle or at other animals. And, it was part of what children thought was fun. Just, some children like to bully those and hit those who are weaker than themselves. And often children and grown-ups, who are kind of like copycats, they would mimic the behavior of others. When they would see someone bigger or stronger than themselves do it, they would do it too. So the young Theodore wanted, I know, look at that look of indignation.
That's wrong.
It is wrong. You're right. It is wrong. The turtle should live its life just fine, not in fear of big bullies. You're right. Same with bugs. So Theodore thought that he wanted to be like the other boys that he had seen. So he raised the stick up in the air, and he took aim, and he was ready to smack that turtle back in the water. But then something stopped him. It wasn't the wind. It wasn't the turtle. It wasn't a ninja turtle. But something seemed wrong about the situation. And he looked at the turtle again, and it was quiet and peaceful, and it was just enjoying the summer day. It wasn't hurting anybody. It was enjoying the sun and the warmth. Now, had that turtle done any harm to him?
No.
Doesn't seem that way. What did the turtle do to him? You're right. Nothing. Now, he also went on to say, is that turtle any really different than me? No. So he lowered his stick and he went home, thinking about what had happened. And now when he got home, he told his mom all about the story, and she listened to him very carefully, and especially to how like he related how this strange force inside of him just kind of like stopped him from hitting the turtle. And his mom said, "Now, Theodore, that force inside of you, it could be called love." She didn't call it love in the story, but I like where you're going with that. She said it's the voice of your conscience. It's like a little light in you that will always show you the right path to take, and that you should always follow what your conscience tells you to do. And if you honor your conscience, you will never go wrong in this world. So Theodore grew up, and he became a Unitarian minister, and he liked to champion the defenseless, and he fought to end slavery because it was right around the time of the Civil War. Yeah. Yep. And it all started that one summer day when he was just a child who saw a turtle and decided he would follow his light. Now, does that give you some more ideas what it might mean if I say, let your light shine? Was it just a story? Y'all are playing around. Was it a bad story? Okay. Okay, so we'll talk about this downstairs, but we're going to come up here because we all have a little light that we are going to share with our community, our conscience, our thoughts. We are going to come up here. We have a basket full of little lights. We are going to light our own light so we can share it with the other lights that are up here over on this table. So if I could have each and every one of you, please stand up. Come take a light. Ooh, turn them on and see if they're all the same colors, though. Oh, they are all the same colors. Maybe they'll change colors. They're changing colors. They are changing colors. So take your light. Turn them on. Give us a little beatbox music. We are going to wrap it on for everybody else. Then we are going to add our light. We're going to add our light to the table. Oh, it's okay. It's not a real flame. It's not going to catch anything on fire. But do watch the real flame. Some of these might not work. But after we add our light, we're going to go on downstairs. We're going to talk about our days.
The beginning of small things. Before Mindy does our communion of names, I'd like to mention that as we, as adults, move in to light the candles, do that for your own self-reflection and prayer. But if you would as well, reach out and light one of the LEDs for another reason, for a person, a loved one, somebody not here, or just because you have so much on your heart. So please, let's do that. Okay, Mindy.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Mindy, a member of the pastoral care team. As we gather today, we pause to reflect on our hearts. Collectively, we want our light to shine. In this time of sorrow and sharing, we take a moment to recognize all of our personal joys and sorrows. We read from the book of Joys. It includes all the sorrows and joys in our personal lives that some people have chosen to share with us. Today we have sorrow. The Pace family wishes to keep Patrick, the Pyron family, in their thoughts and prayers as Patrick Pyron passed away this Saturday. first daffodils have bloomed after being planted last fall. And there's lots of purple in the church out there. I know this is the yard today. Marcy says, please keep my whole family. And those, just keep our whole family in the thoughts and prayers. Are there any online?
Yes. Dennis Garland, Sarah. Brother moved to nursing home Tuesday. Joy. He is finally where he can get care he needs. That's it.
Okay. For what has been shared and what remains in the quiet sanctuary of our hearts, we are eternally grateful that our collective light shines and we take time to think about all this and to hold it to our hearts. Let us be aware of the energy together that brings us in beloved community as we share on the silent meditation. May we open our minds and hearts to a place of quiet and silent prayer for the healing, pain, and comfort of love. You're invited to come forward and light a candle during the musical meditation, and then, as you know, Alice asked you to light the LEDs as well. I'm sorry about the loudness.
We will now have our offering. The Share the Plate this month is for Tapestry Farms. It's a real cool organization that's goal is to build trusting connections and create a Quad City-wide welcoming infrastructure for every single person, including refugees. And that is the main source of people they work with by helping them to resettle into the Quad Cities. And they came up with this great idea of using unused land for community and neighborhood gardens to help feed the food insecurity that many people may experience. So kudos to them, and may you be generous in your giving. If I've failed to mention this 5 times yet, today is the beginning of our pledge drive. When the stewardship committee kind of morphed into the pledge drive, we met a few months to begin to plan, thinking that we needed to think first of our theme. You know, you can't get to where you don't know where you're going. So we tossed around a few ideas. There were silences, there's some laughter, and then I think it was Elaine Cressy said, "Oh, how about let my light shine?" You know, in that moment when an idea is brought forth and it has to sink in, and so it's quiet, and then it's like, yeah, wait, yeah, okay. And then on further reflection, we changed it to let our light shine, because in this community, we can shine brighter than an eye. And so here we are. So, just, we spend every meeting, almost every worship service, by lighting a flame in a chalice. Why? So I dug into that, and here is the story, and it's pretty amazing. So it was in World War II. Europe was ravaged by World War II. People were fleeing from their homes, becoming refugees looking for a safe haven. Who to trust? Unitarians in the U.S. formed a Unitarian Service Committee, and they went to Europe with plans to help bring the refugees safely out of the war. The problem was the refugees spoke so many different languages, and few of them understood English. The question was, how could these Unitarians explain to those refugees that they were safe, they were there to help across this barrier of this language? So they met, and one man came up with a symbol that would be a message, no matter what language people spoke, that was understood to say, "We are here to help." So a symbol was drawn of a chalice with a flame, surrounded by a circle which signifies protection. When the refugees saw this symbol of the chalice, the flame, and the circle, they knew they could trust that source. They could trust those Unitarian members with their message of hope, freedom, and love that the refugees were seeking. So after the war, the Unitarians adopted that symbol as a symbol of their beliefs. We now, still to this day, use that as a symbol. I'm pointing in the wrong direction. We use that as our symbol of a safe haven and a place of hope and faith and love. But it's just a light. There's one solitary light. It'll run out of oil, wick will burn down. All of the symbolism that it contains means nothing unless there are vessels of the light to carry the essence of that meaning into the world. We, a congregation of 140 members and friends, along with hundreds of thousands of other Unitarians across the world, we are those vessels. We are those vessels of light, each of us carrying the message in the flames within ourselves, which speak of belief, of respect and justice, compassion, acceptance, search for truth, peace, liberty, and justice for all. Marianne Williamson says it best: if you do not believe that you have that light, she says, we are all meant to shine as children do. We are born to make manifest the design essence of the God that is within us. And it's not just in some, it's in everyone. And as we let our light shine, we unconsciously give other people permission to do the same. As we are liberated, our presence automatically liberates others. We go from a single chalice to what we have here. One person's flame, not shared, eventually burns itself out. But when one person shares the flame with another person, the world begins to change, because two people can keep you sane, give support, love, and hope, and sex. Three people are a trinity in relationship, a committee beginning the sharing of ideas for change, as that committee did in World War II so long ago. With four people, you can sit around a card table and find common ground to begin a movement. With six, you can speak as one. Voices that blend become louder and carried further, and hold a fundraising party. A dozen make a demonstration, a yard cleanup, painting a building, a soup kitchen. 100 can fill a hall and start a new movement. 1,000 lights joined together shine. They are brighter and can be heard louder, and a platform on which to speak, and countless voices to drown out dissent. 10,000, you can form your own media company. 100,000, you can win an election, raise money, and spread a message throughout the world. And 10 million, bring the change for a more just and equitable world. And it starts one at a time. It starts when you care to act, to share your light, to move someone by a generous act or a kind word. It starts when you say we and know who you mean, and each day you mean one more. All from a single light within. As Elizabeth Gilbert says, no matter who you are, she didn't say that part. No matter who you are, where you are, or how mundane situations may seem, you can illuminate your world. In fact, this is the only way the world will ever be illuminated. One person, one bright act of grace at a time. I remember years ago, I was on staff at a Lutheran church, took a bunch of kids to Atlanta, Georgia for a big rousing convention to get the youth excited. It ended after a rousing session on a Sunday night. I stood on the hill overlooking the parking lot, and it was dark. and I watched hundreds of cars turn on their headlights and streamed out of the lot. And I even remember thinking then, if even 100 of those thousands of people that were there shared their light when they got home, the convention that had switched that on for them, what a difference it would make to them, to their families, their community, and their world. I see that light here amidst us, in our congregation, in each of you. After COVID and Jay's leaving, I'll admit, it was barely flickering, the light of this congregation, and at times it was hard to see. But in the last few years, I have seen it flame up in so many people, released and freed to shine, passed on to one another through everyday acts that I see here and given to me as well. Warm greetings. I mean, is it any better than to be greeted by Dan at the door? I mean, hello. Glad you're here. Through the giving of the time when I know many have no time to give. Through talents that inspire us. Through treasures of stretching your budget when you know we need to keep the lights on. You are all that keeps my light shining. You are all what has at times rekindled my flame when my wick has been burned down. So many of you have stepped up, sharing your light in our pursuit of our mission to embody Martin Luther's dreams of a beloved community. The PowerPoint guys up there, you know, they're messing around with us, I think, but how grateful we are for the time that they give. I think they're duct taping some of the equipment together just to keep us being heard. The IT or the PowerPoint team, I know I'm terrible at it, but you're supposed to get your PowerPoint to them, and I can't even talk about the board this year of all that they have given with extra workshops and arranging schedules to share their gifts that affect all of us as we pursue our ministry of love and care. The list goes on and on, on and on. Each of you, in your own way, just by being here today, makes this a brighter space to be in. And we have this sanctuary with so much effort given in that is from generations before us, because they had their lights. They lit them, they shared them, and we exist today because of them. And now we are beginning the pledge drive for 2024-25. Our theme, let our light shine. All flames need a vessel to hold it. This place we call home is our vessel, and we are the flames. So this year, as we pledge our forms, let us not think of our giving as a have to, as a begrudging thing that I have to do, damn it, but as thankfulness for all that we have been given by our community in this place we call home. From the comfort of this beautiful space, to the gifts we give each other, to our paid staff, to this place that illuminates our flames and asks us to grow, embrace, and speak to a world that needs to hear our voices. This pledge drive is indeed about the reality of keeping us financially sustainable, but is much more to me about the work we are called to do from generations past that lay the foundation upon which we now stand, and asked to pass on that foundation to the next generation for a Unitarian light to shine and dissipate the darkness. We are those called. We are in this moment. May we arise to meet it. Thankful as well for several people who are offered, no, I beg them, who are willing to speak, let our light shine. And we begin with Miriam.
Good morning. My name is Miriam Andrews Ullman. I'm a member of the Board of Trustees and the UU Singers. My journey with this congregation sparked 10 years ago. From my very first day, when the music director at the time asked me about joining the choir, I have been encouraged to shine bright here. What stands out most for me is what happened when my own life journey was at its darkest. When I felt my light might burn out entirely due to domestic abuse. At that time, when someone I loved tried to convince me that I was worthless, crazy, and worse, people here who hardly knew me helped light a path for me by simply sitting next to me with a shoulder to rest and cry on, by sharing their own stories of their own flames being rekindled in times of despair, by taking me in and my children to warm ourselves by the hearth in their home. At that time, I also continued to be inspired from this pulpit by leaders. They spoke of human dignity, love, and caring for each other in ways that gave comfort and reassurance to the flicker inside me. They spoke of our individual and collective power to heal the wounds of this world in ways that reminded me how beautiful and necessary my light is. And finally, this is one of the only places where I come among others to mindfully breathe together, to feel the spirit of love nourishing our flames with life-giving oxygen. I hope that I have been a light to others and that this beacon on the hill continues to light the way for the weary for generations to come. It saved my life.
Hi, my name is Betty Murphy, and I began attending services here roughly about 2 years ago. I grew up in Cook County, aka Chicago, moving to Champaign County for college. After graduating, I lived and worked in Champaign County for another 25 years. In 1996, my late husband and I moved to a rural part of Henry County, where I have always felt out of place, like a stranger in a strange land. I do not feel like a stranger in this congregation. I feel like I belong here because together we all recognize that change is the only constant. Our ability to navigate change is fundamental to our survival and our well-being as a congregation. Like you, I worry about climate change, protecting women's rights, civil rights, and LGBT rights. Like you, I want to defend our democracy and get assault weapons off the streets. They are not a symbol of freedom. They are instruments of death. But please know I do own a gun. What I admire about this congregation is the activism. I feel privileged to be a part of a congregational community of people who not only recognize injustice, but fearlessly speak out against it. Alexei Navalny said, and I quote, "I don't want to give up either my country or my beliefs. I cannot betray either the first or the second. If your beliefs are worth something, you must be willing to stand up for them, and if necessary, to make some sacrifices." Thank you.
Hello, My name is Stephen Pickerel. I am obviously a member of this congregation, but I'm on the Leadership Development Committee, and I help with the AV support and that. So I started here with a question of why religion? This is the question that keeps me coming back here, actually. For being more of a humanist and atheist kind of person, I ask myself this question more times than I'd like to count. What purpose does it serve us humans when it doesn't normally physically give you anything? Why believe in any religion when many times it is responsible for several differing viewpoints, providing no concrete evidence of the divine, ostracizing others, and is responsible for a good amount of human suffering and war? Really uplifting, I know, I try to be. Yet this humanist atheist would be sad if this religion were gone. Initially, at about the time, about 8 years ago, when we joined, when my family and I found this place, we only had one child at the time. I did not believe there was a religion that made sense to me, but I knew something somewhere that was going to show my children and future child a religion that would tell them they were bad people and should feel bad. Especially if they didn't follow or abide by their supposed rule book written in a time long ago before the glory that is the internet. But I can go on and on. One of the things that's hard for me to do is to talk for only about 2 minutes. So, but there is more than one reason. That's just one reason. But here's the short version. I come here to search for and find this ever-glowing bright beacon of hope, of debate, of thinking, of disagreements, of fun, of belonging, and of community. My spark lights when we, as a congregation, take action and ask ourselves, why religion? Thank you.
My name is Bill Preston. I was born in Deadwood, South Dakota. Now that is the home of Calamity Jane and Wild Bill Hickok. So if you were born there, you had a 6-gun attached to your hip. I lived with my parents and siblings in a government community in Nevada. Our village was called Babbitt. It was comprised of 500 military houses, all identical. In my community, there was no Unitarian Universalist congregation, no synagogue. We had a Mormon, Catholic, and 2 Baptist churches. Our community had a large population of black citizens. They chose to have their own churches. I attended all the churches at some time, became a member of one Baptist church. Typically, the theme was, of all, we are the way to salvation and heaven. Ours is the only way. After finishing high school, I attended college in South Dakota, received a degree in engineering. After graduation, I took a position with John Deere, then retired after 25 years of service. My wife succumbed to COVID in 2021. After some time, my friend and I decided to try this Unitarian Universalist for spiritual assistance. Immediately, I was impressed with the friendliness of the congregation. I'm an engineer by education, studied mathematics and science. The universe is a void filled with billions of stars, galaxies, and planets. How can one supreme being oversee all the vastness of this universe? Our congregation accepts all beliefs and thinking. I haven't experienced this anywhere else. We became members in 2023. Since then, our congregation has become a significant part of our lives. Thank you.
Thank you to all those voices that helps us all to hear more about our own flame that has helped light theirs and they ours. So, rise as you are willing in body and spirit to sing our closing hymn, 1028, The Fire of Commitment. You may be seated. Join us in the words to extinguish the chalice that is our usual, because they matter. We extinguish Is this the postlude? Before we do, I would like to do a prayer with us. Blessed be the path on which you travel. Blessed be the vessel of your body that carries you upon it. Blessed be your heart that has heard the call whose light leads the way. Blessed be your mind that discerns the way. Blessed be the gift that you will receive by going. Truly blessed is the gift you will become on your journey. May you go forth in peace this week. Share your light to brighten the path for all who travel with you. Let this be so. Amen. Before we leave, I forgot to mention, if you are a visitor, we so welcome you here. But as we begin the joyful work of our pledging, Mindy, who did the joys and sorrows, and her husband, Mike, will be in the back. So fill up your plates and follow them so that they can get to know you better and you us. So let us begin the next phase of this fun day. Go get your food. Please come back, and we will start in about 7 minutes.